You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Welcome to another episode of the AZREIA Show. I'm your host, Marcus Maloney, and we have our executive director and co-host, Mike Prete.
Hello, hello.
And it's been a minute, Mike, since we've been together. It seems we always talk over the phone or having a meeting, but us being at the table together, it's been a little while.
I'm here.
So we're, and I haven't been. I'm here. I haven't been. I've been traveling, doing a lot of out-of-state investing, but we're here now, and we thank you all for being here as well. And today, we're going to talk about financing and getting funding, right? So we have Vanessa Montoya here with Boomerang Capital. How are you today?
I'm great. Super blessed.
Excellent, excellent. So give us a brief little background about yourself, how long you've been in the lending space, and we'll talk about some of your products a little later.
Okay. So I started my background was with sales. I was with T-Mobile for a few years, actually probably 7 years, and loved the sales aspect of it, loved the customer service, teaching people, things like that. Became a manager.
Were you in a retail store? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Retail store.
So I like that business.
Yeah.
It seems like it's, I don't want to say easy. Does that make sense?
I'll tell you this, it was easy in the years that I was there because it was when cell phones were starting to become big. So it was there in 2009 is when I started with T-Mobile.
Okay.
So the boom of cell phone industry was huge, but also was a transition from regular flip phone cell phones to internet cell phones.
Okay.
So I had to help teach people how to use those phones and kind of go through that transition.
Oh, you guys were like customer service.
Yep.
Right. The reason I was not saying like easy, like sales is easy, because you know how they just let you throw everything on your bill now?
Yeah.
That wasn't back then.
It wasn't like that back then. You had to
So
pay for everything right there.
Yeah,
Towards the end of my career, we started to be able to add things to the bill.
Got it.
So I moved up and did management for a while, and I got tired of the whole retail working weekends, holidays, things like that.
Wow.
And a lot of our industry was moving towards banking. Never really had an interest in banking, but got an opportunity to go, and I started working with Chase. Part-time teller type of situation. But what was great about it is I was 22, 23 at that time, and got into learning about finances. It was perfect for me because I actually had bought a house when I was 20. T-Mobile treated me very well. Bought a house at 20. I knew I wasn't going to rent. The problem was I bought it in 2007. Okay. So I lost my house by 2009, and I had to work on my finances, my credit all over again. So it was a blessing because I was able to get into the finance industry and learn all of it from scratch because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I thought I knew what I was doing. And I was able to learn about home equity lines of credit, buying a house, financing, budget, and Chase taught me a lot of that. So I worked my way up all the way up to a lender with Chase and then transitioned to a smaller bank later on. So I was able to learn from the bottom all the way to the top for lending strategies, what they look for when it comes to credit. But what was crazy is in 2019, people were buying houses like crazy. The interest rates were super, super low. And I was getting a ton of clients who were investors who were getting HELOCs to buy investment properties. Most of them are self-employed. So I had to start telling a lot of people with a lot of money no. And I'm like, why? What's going on here? Where's the disconnect? I don't understand it. I can see their business. They're bringing in millions of dollars because they have all these other businesses. They're self-employed. They invest in real estate. But because we're using their personal home, we cannot use any of their business assets. And to me, there was a huge disconnect there. I'm like, what is going on?
There is. Think about that. So that's important about getting a good tax or wealth strategist to set up your paperwork. So yeah, I was with Bank of America trying to do HELOC when the rates dropped, and they just ghosted me 3 weeks in. It's just like they just stopped responding. But they wanted to say, hey, you're in this joint venture, you're in this LLC. Like, who owns this? Show us the K1s. And it's just these banks, the larger banks, the Chase Bank, they can't handle that.
They can't. And when you're a business owner and you are doing your best to be able to use the tax strategy the best way possible, it's hard for big banks to lend to you. So I started doing my own research. I'm like, okay, what are these investors doing? They're making a ton of money, but yet these banks are not able to lend to them. I'm like, there's a huge disconnect. Let me learn about it. So I got back into real estate, but learning it from a different perspective of it just being like my own personal home. got on the Robert Kiyosaki train, went down the Pace Morby train, and learned all different types of strategies for it. Then I realized
Did you pay to get on those trains?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Don't count it up as your
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Good.
which obviously
Perfect.
changed my life. And I realized I was doing everything wrong and realized all my mistakes that happened back in 2007, 2008 when I lost my house. And I told myself, I said, look, I lost a house. It happened to me really ugly, but it happened to me super young where I was able to recover.
No.
And that was a huge aspect of me being able to come back from that. Was I know a lot of people happened to them when they're in close to retirement, lost everything. And I'm like, look, I'm young. I was, like I said, 22 or 23 when I lost my house, that I was able to figure out what I needed to do to fix it. And I said, I'm not going to let this stop me from buying real estate again. I'm not going to let this stop me from learning. So I said, I'll be darned if I'm going to let that stop me. Took me about 5-7 years to fix my credit. Bought another house hacked, and learned the different strategies of being able to buy property, which led me to getting into hard money. Because now I'm able to tell people, yes, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It matters about the deal. And that was the missing link that I think I was missing when I was learning all these things. I'm like, there's a disconnect. There's got to be the money out there. How are they getting it? And how can I be involved?
Yes. So before we go into the hard money, then let's go back because you said a lot there.
There was a lot.
And you said it fast.
We can
Now
go
I'm
a lot
trying
of
to
different avenues.
No, like you were young, you took action, you bought a house. Most people are nervous to buy a house at that age, but you got the experience in, you got the bumps and bruises in. And then the dynamic that I saw that changed what the trajectory is reading.
Yeah.
You read a book. The things that we are not taught when we were growing up, you stepped outside, you got the education, then once again, you applied the education. So it sounds like you're a go-getter.
I try to be. And like reading some of these books got me a little bit frustrated. Like, why isn't this stuff taught in school? Why aren't we taught it through our parents and all of that? But what I chose to do was like, okay, let me learn this. Let me take action. But then I also want to teach my family. Because if nobody taught me and that was the missing link, how can I teach the younger generation? I don't have kids, but I got cousins, I got nephews, I got godson and goddaughter. I'm like, I want to teach them, whether it's me directly teaching them or them just watching me from afar and saying, hey, what can I do to get involved with what you're doing? At least learn about it.
Yep. Like, why didn't you not apply it? Most people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a house at 20, so there was some fire in me at one point.
Yeah.
I said I'm not going to rent, so I don't know what that fire came from. Just know that I wasn't going to rent, I was going to buy, and then when I lost everything, I'm like, we're going to do this again. We're going to try it again.
There.
Yeah.
That's what the thing was.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
So it's their ambition. Some people have ambition that others just don't. And that's one of the things that I see even within my family, right? And I do the same thing we do weekly, not weekly, but monthly, like family meetings and things like that. And you can see where some of the younger generation is like, okay, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna do it. Where the other ones are like, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. They second guessing everything. The other ones with that ambition, they're just jumping out there and they're doing it. And some people have that ambition. Some people don't.
Gotta find it.
The only thing I can think of was I came from a sports background. I was an athlete my whole life. So I'm super competitive. Like, even if I'm not great at something, like we were talking earlier, it forces me to become better when I see somebody that's better than me or just as good as me. I'm like, awesome, I have something to learn from them. So how can I utilize this person next to me that's better than me for me to become better?
What sport did you play?
I played basketball and softball.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So that just helped, I think, drive me to be able to say, okay, I messed up, but how do I overcome that and how to become better? And let's try it again. It's scary, though.
It is.
It's scary. I sit back and I think to myself all the time, like even with the flip that I did last year, I'm like, there's a lot of things I don't know, but we're going to learn.
Yep.
Now, so then hard money. Then you found hard money years in. Tell us more about that.
About how I got into it?
Yeah.
So I was in a bunch of social network, like Facebook groups for real estate. And I knew that the bank, I was capped out at the bank. I was a lender with the bank, but there wasn't anywhere for me to go. If I was going to move up, it was going to be into like commercial banking. But I was going to be doing the same thing that I was doing as far as lending goes, just on the commercial side of things. And so I kept just thinking out loud saying, I need something different. I need to be able to get into more of the real estate side of things. I was investing myself and I was lending. So I'm like, there's got to be something that can put these two together. So being involved with these groups Andrew Bang with Boomerang, he posted a Facebook group and said, hey, I'm looking for another lender. It's a great opportunity. Give me a call if you're interested. So sent him an email. I was like, would love to chat about this. And my intention was just to see what his, what he was offering. Our whole conversation just went straight into an interview over the phone. He's come meet the team. I would love to have you on board. And it happened so fast, but I knew that was right for me because it put two of my things that I love together, which was sales, one, more importantly, lending and real estate. And I'm like, I don't know hard money like I do know traditional, but I know I can figure it out.
For those who don't know the difference between hard money and traditional lending, can you go over that real quick?
Yeah. So traditional banking, they're always going to look at your assets, going to look at your credit, look at your history, and they're going to do a deep dive into what you're doing financially to be able to decide whether you can get money from a bank. The hard money side is way more flexible. We're not going to check credit. We're not going to look at your history. You can make mistakes in the past, and all that is perfectly fine as long as you have a good deal. So we're asset-based. We're going to look at the property, and we're going to say, this is what it's valued at now. This is how much work you're going to put into it, and this is what it's going to be worth afterwards. So we will base it off of that deal itself and say, do you have the funds for the down payment? Do you have the funds for your monthly payment? Good. Let's get you going. So big difference. I have a lot of people who are self-employed, like we talked about, that are claiming $40,000 to $50,000 a year. And a traditional bank's going to say you don't make enough money, but their business side has hundreds of thousands of dollars that they are using in their business side of things. So they're great with money. It's not a fact if they're not good with money. It's just they know how to strategize. And for some reason, banks don't like that. So with hard money, we just have so much more flexibility, and we can talk to the borrower and say, what is your plans for this? When in banking, it's so black and white.
So did you, after you met Andrew, did you quit
I did.
right away, or did you like test the waters out?
I went all in. I said, this is, like I said, I felt maxed out. I wanted something different. I'm like, look, all the stars are pointing in the right direction. I'm like, this is the move for me. I'm just going to jump all in and just go for it. And it was honestly the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew's a charming guy, I would have put too.
And he has so much to offer. He has
He's
so
great.
much experience in real estate when it comes to wholesaling, flipping, all of it. And how much he loves lending. Like I told you, we can't get him to stop lending if we wanted to.
Yeah.
He just loves it so much. And he has so much to offer. And I've learned so much. I've looked at him like a mentor and so much to learn from him.
So what was it like the learning process of just like, but one thing I've noticed, because I'm always jumping around, if we try new businesses or projects, like business is the same, whether you're landscaping, plumbing company, dentist, real estate investor, like there's fundamentals that are the same. So I'm noticing when I'm doing other things, it's just the same thing as real estate, like what I teach. So what was it like being new to hard money lending, the learning process?
It was just a lot of questions. People would ask me questions. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but let me find out. And I would just make that quick phone call. And I wasn't afraid to say, I don't know. Or let me take a look at it for you. Because there's a lot of terminology I wasn't used to yet. And a lot of certain things that I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. What do you mean? Can you roll your closing cost into the loan? Wait a minute. Hold on. What is this? So a lot of questions. It took a lot of notes. Saved a lot of emails. So that way, if I had the same question again, I can go back. Because I don't like asking the same question twice. Andrew's a busy guy. My team's busy. To go back and continue to ask the same questions, I'm like, no, I need to take notes. I need to get this embedded in my head so that way I can help and figure it out.
Was your brain zapping? You're like, all right, no credit check?
It took me a
Right.
little while. Yeah. It took me a while to delete the banking and traditional banking stuff out of my head. It took a little while. But then once it was gone.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How long did it take to do your first hard money loan?
I think it was 2 days.
Okay.
It was 2 days. It was quick.
Were you like shaking the bushes to get your own deals, or did they have lead?
They had lead flow for me. So I took over somebody. So my main market other than Arizona is Denver, Colorado. So we had a lender in Denver, Colorado that left. So I was able to jump in and take over his book right away. So my intention was, okay, I might not know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of clients in this book that have done it and know what they're doing. So I was reaching out for the first 2 weeks, every single client that had ever done a loan in Denver, reaching out to them, telling them that I'm their new lender. And deals just started to come through right away.
Okay. So like when you're new to investing, see one of the hurdles we see here, and Marcus chime in, is like, I want to make sure I run my numbers, am I right on my comps, or my estimate my repairs. Now, let's go to your situation. Like you're also giving that advice now that you're in the business a couple weeks, couple months, and you have to learn how to comp. You have to learn how to estimate repairs because you're giving advice to the person that's actually going to do.
Yep.
That can be intimidating.
A lot of pressure.
So how did the learning process go for you?
So for the first, I would say month or two, I was sending all of the deals that I looked at to Andrew to review. But I wanted to get it down pat. So I was looking at everything I could possibly look at, presenting my side of it to Andrew, have him take a look at it. And then if he's, hey, check this out, check that out, I'm like, okay. He was teaching me what I need to look for. And then I would present it to the client. So it would take a little bit longer, but I was able to, like I said, he was mentoring me. Look at this. Check out the roof. This foundation looks bad. You want to look at these photos to make sure that they're telling you it's only $15,000 in rehab, but then you look at the photos and you're like, that's not possible. Repetition.
Okay.
Repetition and getting to know all these little missing things that I was missing. And then I was able to talk to the client a little bit better.
So as a new investor, and I believe I found a deal, right? And I'm coming to Boomerang, I'm coming to you, Vanessa, to possibly get funded. What do I need to do to position my deal, myself in the best light for it to get funded?
Great question. So obviously we're going to want to look at the property. So we're going to need the address. And the biggest thing I always like to tell people, because there's so many different types of flips you can do. You could do a basic, hey, I'm just going to do carpet and paint and get this moving. Perfect. Well, guess what? My ARV is going to affect that. So the more information you can give me on what your plan is, I don't need the full scope, but if you can say, hey, I'm going to be adding square feet. I'm going to be adding a bedroom. There's a huge extra living room. We're going to convert it to 2 bedrooms. Just give me an idea for what rehab you're going to do to the property so I can give it the best ARV. I think sometimes when investors come to me, they just send me the deal and I'm like, I need to know because I'm looking at other properties that are the same square footage, but 2 bedrooms less. Those can factor into what the ARV is going to be afterwards. So really it's just the address so I can take a look at the comps and how much rehab you're planning on doing to it. That way I can get a good feel for what the after repair value is.
Okay.
And I always like to know, like the investor, what is your idea of what you're going to sell it for? I want to make sure we're on the same page. If you're telling me it's going to be worth $600,000 and I'm looking at comps at $450, where's the disconnect? Yeah. And I always tell the client like, hey, this is my ARV right now. Am I missing something? Show me the comps that you're pulling because this is a partnership too, right? I want to know what you see that I may not see. So let's take a look at it together. Show me what kind of plans you have for this, what comps you're pulling, and then I'll let you know, hey, those comps are too far. This comp is 500 square feet bigger. Yeah. This comp sold 1.5 years ago, completely different market at that time. So let's look at what the true value is for right now at this market. So I always like to communicate that with the investor too.
Very important. My wife was just telling me she was comping a property from a wholesaler and he was using comps from last year. Just got to be careful. You guys got to really understand. The most important thing you can learn is how to comp a property and estimate repairs so you can write the right offer. And when you can run it by Vanessa, just to get that second pair of eyes, and she's saying, no, watch out for this. I don't see this. I don't understand that. You might want to rethink this purchase unless you can prove it to her. And she agrees with you.
Yeah.
So that's a huge advantage to be able to send your deals to her.
Absolutely. And that's what I tell people too, especially when we do the monthly meetings and I talk to investors. They're like, I'm looking for a property. How can you help me? Find a property. Let's do it together. Even if you're not planning on buying it, let's do a few practices so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah. You can see from what a hard money's perspective is. And let's run 1 or 2 together, see what our ARVs are, see if we're on the same page. That way, when you go and start looking at deals, you know what to look for and you know that you're on the same track. So I love doing that. I love working with first-time investors because I am one and I was one to where there's a slight disconnect and people get intimidated sometimes. They're like, I have a good deal, but what if it's not a good deal? Let's sit down and run it. Why not?
All numbers.
It's all numbers.
So you're in Phoenix, you joined Boomerang, you closed your first deal in Denver. So now you're also having to learn 2 markets.
I learned 2 markets.
And that's 2 different worlds, like neighborhoods, crossroads, like freeways. There's a lot to juggle there.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I traveled to Denver once a month. And for the first 6 months that I was there, going back and forth, I'm like, I need to learn this market. So every time I stayed in Denver, I stayed in a different little city. Because they have a bunch of like little mini, just like Mesa, Chandler, Phoenix, Tempe. I'm like, I need to learn all of these different areas. So every time I'd go, I'd stay in a different spot, drive around the neighborhoods, take a look at it, pull up Zillow Market. Okay, what are these houses selling for? When I would do like my own
So you couldn't
analysis.
The expense from Boomerang and stay downtown. And
it's not as great as it sounds.
No, brilliant.
But yeah, it was a good way for me to meet. And then going to events too, talking to people about the market. They have very similar networking things that are out there. So I was able to learn by talking.
Do you guys work with iCore out in
Do,
Denver?
yeah.
So the official RIA in Denver is iCore.
Yep.
Troy Miller, check them out.
Yep, they are great. And DMAR too. They have Denver Metro Realtors Association, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
So I work with a lot of the realtors out there too.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, good thing about it, and one thing that we at AZREIA always like to remind people is when you're working with a service provider, hard money lender, contractor, realtor, whatever it is, you want to make sure they have that investor eyesight. So with you doing your first flip not too long ago, that's good because now you know exactly what to look for as far as on the fix and flip side also. So kind of share your input on that flip.
Right after I started with Boomerang, I knew I wanted to do a flip because in sales, when I worked at a cell phone company, they always said, hey, when the new phone comes out, get the new phone, learn how to use it, test drive it. So when a client comes in, what's the ins and outs about it? So my first aspect was, okay, I don't know a lot about the flip market and what my clients are going through. I need to do it, whether I win or lose. I need to get my hands dirty and learn hands-on so I can be able to talk to my clients better. And so right away I started looking. I started with Boomerang in July. I bought my first flip in December. But that entire time I was looking.
Okay.
Found it in December. And yeah, the biggest thing behind it was for me to learn and get my hands dirty and be able to talk to my clients. And already just by finding the deal, getting it locked up, waiting for it to close, I was already having conversations with my clients. Oh, I just found this deal over here. Oh yeah, what are you thinking about doing with it? Let me show it to you. And it opened up even more conversations with my clients to get to know them on a deeper level. And it helped with just talking to people. And
Tell us about the deal.
so
How did you find it?
Yep. I found it through a wholesaler.
Okay.
So again, when I started with Boomerang, I got on a bunch of wholesalers' list. Let's start looking at properties because these are going to be the properties that are going to come to my desk anyways for me to look at. So I found a property through a wholesaler and it was a great deal. The person who was living there had passed away and it had been sitting in probate for a while. So there was a ton of stuff in the property. But what was really nice is I was actually able to partner with a contractor on this deal. And I figured, okay, I know the lending side. At least I'm learning about it. I know the lending side of things. I don't know the contracting side. That was my hurdle with it. And that's why I wanted to try it. So I said, okay, let me try to play it safe a little bit and let me get a partner with me on this deal so I can at least get my hands dirty. So we partnered with a contracting company who had been doing flips for a long time, but this was their first flip as well. So let's get together with it. Let's see what they see. They were actually going to buy it themselves. And we met at the property when I was walking it.
Oh, okay.
And I heard them talking about what their plans were to do if they did it. I started talking to them. I'm like, look, I'm a lender. I want to try my first flip. They're like, we want to do ours too. So it felt right. And we went in on it together. And
How do you structure something like that for us to know?
it was good. There was a couple things I wish I would have done a little bit different when it came
Okay.
to that. But we
Tell us.
did do a contract between my company and his company saying that we were going to split all the profits. We didn't talk about any losses. So that was a hurdle, right? Of course, you get into a deal you don't expect to lose.
Right.
It's all fun.
It
like,
all
yeah.
fun.
great. let's make-
Yes. How much money we're going to
Yeah,
make.
and
And that's
all you're
the first,
thinking.
it's all you're thinking about. But you got to think about the losses too. So I think that was a mistake on my part is we talked about what we're going to do with the profit, but we never talked about what we're going to do if we lost. We did put in the contract that if we don't flip it and we decided to rent it, what that would look like. Because we knew that there was going to be a time frame. If it didn't sell, we would
Right.
need to have another exit strategy. So we set up our contract between two companies together, did a JV on that part of things. And then I took care of the lending side. They took care of the rehab and doing the actual loan.
So do you mind if we talk numbers? There's obviously, you guys probably funded, Boomerang probably funded the deal. So
Yep.
there's a down payment.
I
Yep.
would hope so.
So
Yep.
you guys,
Yes. And that's another thing too of the learning aspect. Let me be on the other side of the table.
okay.
Let me see what emails get sent out to the client afterward, what kind of relationship, how do the payments work, any little hurdles, because I want to be able to talk to them about
Right.
that with my clients
So you
too.
can lend your own deal or you had to go through someone else on the team?
So I went through Andrew. He like double checked my work.
Did you give him a Google review?
No, but I should.
No. Okay. So someone had to put down the down payment.
Yep.
And someone obviously had to put up the materials and the labor costs.
Yep.
I know they're doing the work, but
Yep.
how did all that play out?
So I did the down payment and I
Okay.
took care of all the monthly payments on the loan side, and
Okay.
they took care of all of the rehab, anything that needed to be done with materials. And then obviously they have their own crew.
Yeah.
So they were able to structure that part of it. We went in with a game plan. Obviously, we had a really good game plan. There's always a hurdle.
What was
Always
your
a
hurdle?
Our biggest hurdle that started it off was when we got into the property and we pulled all the permits the garage was carport before, okay? And it wasn't permitted. So they stopped us.
Wait, the garage so you guys didn't put the garage in. It was a cardboard turned garage, not permitted. Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
So when they pulled that, they realized the garage was not permitted. We had to stop what we were doing, which in Scottsdale, I think at that time in December, January-ish, took about 2-3 weeks.
All right, not bad.
So we couldn't do anything though, okay? We couldn't do anything. We had to stop everything and get all the blueprints. They had to come check it out, do the inspection, got it cleared. It just put us back a little further than we wanted to, what we planned.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the biggest hurdles, was getting through that. And then we went over budget. Happens. This was a pretty big over budget situation.
So was it because of the garage or?
No, that was part of it, but it wasn't all of it. And I will take complete ownership on a lot of it because communication is so key.
Absolutely.
Even with your contractor, and even if you have a game plan together, I should have either had a property manager, or I should have managed the GC.
Contract.
Yeah, because guess what? They're busy. They're going to have other deals going on as well that they're working on for their clients. And things can get missed. And I think it also threw them off track when they realized and they ran their numbers. They're like, oh no, we're over budget. And it was a tough conversation for them to have with me. And it was a tough conversation for us to have together, but it's part of the business. Yeah. And that was a huge learning aspect for me, was let's take the personal side out of things and let's talk numbers and business. Okay, this is where we're at now. There's nothing we can do to go back. These are where the numbers are at now. What are we going to do to try to get through it and save ourselves as much as possible?
So what was it that drew you guys over budget? Was it something that you missed, water damage, termites, something like that? Or was it just the cost?
I think it was accumulation of a couple of things, with the people having to stop working on it. We had to put a little bit of extra money in getting that permitted side. We did find some mold in the bathroom. We had the master bathroom, we made it a little bit bigger. And when we went in there, we realized there was some mold. So we had to do some extra financing for the mold portion of it. And then it's Scottsdale, right? So we wanted everything as beautiful and as high-end as possible. So I think when we just did each budget,
just under budget
on certain things. When you go shopping and you start looking at, okay, this is the cabinets we want, or these are the tile we want, it just slowly added up over time. And it took a lot of our profit when it came to that. But with that, we also missed the spring window of selling. So we didn't actually sell till June. So we had to do an extension. So it took a little bit longer. So when financing with Boomerang, our terms are for 6 months. Things happen, and if you're not done with the project or it just hasn't sold yet, you have to pay for an extension. So there's some fees.
Fees there, okay.
Yeah, there's some fees there, along with extra months of interest. So all those little things just combined. And we didn't lose a ton of money, but it was still a loss. And it was something we had to, again, in business, we can sit here and talk about profits all day long. And that's the exciting part. The hard part is when you say, okay, how are we going to eat this cost together? And what are we going to learn from it? And I see that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, because it's difficult when you have to come to the closing table, bringing a check versus expecting to leave with the check.
Yep.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Is the losses sometimes, because it's hard. My pride doesn't want to say we took a loss on something. But when I look back at everything that I learned through this loss, it's so much bigger. Just like my house that I lost when I was 20. It was a huge loss, and I felt like my life was over for a moment. But I would not be where I'm at right now if I didn't take that loss, because I learned so much. So I can only imagine what this will do for me in the next 5 years.
Very true.
Because it's not going to stop me. You guys saw I lost a house. It's not going to make me. It's only going to make me say, this is what I need to do different, and how are we going to do better next time?
That's a good perspective to have.
You have to have that perspective.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now? What's next?
Right now, I bought a house in March of last year, and it's on a huge lot. So I am going to be putting a casita in the back. My plan is to rent it out. So I've been living in it, doing like a live and flip. It didn't need a ton of work, just updates. So I moved in and did new cabinets, took the carpet out, painted, updated the bathrooms, things like that. All that's done, and my plan is to rent the house out along with the casita in the back.
Okay.
So, I'm working on just deciding whether I'm going to do a ground-up build in the back or if I'm going to do like a prefab.
Gotcha.
Weighing out all my different options right now to see, but my plan is to have that as a rental.
And it's a new thing around Phoenix.
Yeah.
Being able to do the ADUs, guest house, mother-in-law suite. Everyone has their own casita.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the nice person. So great. No, so you're gonna have a rental.
Yep.
And since that's new, so what are the rents looking like on that?
So when I bought it, rents were pretty high. And I was like, cool, perfect. Not rates, but a rental market dropped just a little bit. So that's why I decided to go with the casita. Things change, markets change. So I would be breaking even if I were to rent just the main house out right now. So that's why I said, okay, let's figure out a strategy for it and how we can get more income for this property. And with everything passing.
So you're gonna throw it on the back. Does Boomerang fund anything creative like this?
Not on this, because this is like a ground up construction situation. So it wouldn't be, which I'm learning again. Hey, how can we fund it? There's some companies that will fund the buildup of casitas. There are some companies that will do the prefab and do financing. So right now, just weighing out all the different options to figure out what is the best route to go.
Okay.
Yeah, long term, it's gonna be perfect.
And especially the area that I'm in, South Phoenix. And there's a lot of homes that there are multiple generations living in and houses. So I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to be able to add that asset and have the grandparents are in the casita and the rest of the families in the main house or vice versa. And I'm hoping that it will also entice other people on my street, because the whole street that I'm at, everybody's backyards are massive.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can see, hey, we can do the same thing that they're doing and be able to increase the values of their home too.
Or just buy their houses.
I got creative at one point. I'm like, I wonder if we could build a casitas and take some kind of like proceeds or profit from, hey, let's rent this out and make something creative out of it. I don't know, but think outside the box. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
For sure. Amazing. All right. Marcus, any last questions as we wrap up here?
No, I think so. Anything coming up as far as networking event?
Boomerang, tell us what's going on in your guys' world and we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so we are going to be teaming up with you guys next Tucson, which I'm really excited about. We're going to have a happy hour in Tucson to get some investors together, talk some business, see if we can get more of our clients booming in Tucson, because Tucson's a very good market for us too.
Yeah.
And we've had quite a few clients come out and get properties out there, so let's go meet them face to face. So I'm excited to do that with you guys. We'll be at the AZREIA meeting next Monday as well. And we have been briefly talking about doing like a Boomerang customer appreciation here soon.
Okay.
So we've been dabbling in that. So hopefully we can get an event together so we can get a bunch of our clients together as well.
What are you guys thinking? Like a restaurant kind of thing or like VIP suites?
I don't know. I got to talk to Andrew. See, what is our budget?
Yeah,
what are we working here with?
Got to start there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully Marcus and I make the list.
Yes. That would be awesome.
That's all. Cool. That'll be fun. Yeah. Great. So how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah.
So I am on Instagram. I'm Nessa the Investa on Instagram.
I like it.
Also Vanessa at boomerangcapital.com. You guys can reach me, and then text cell phone 480-410-0945. And anybody who's just new in investing and wants to run deals by me, like I said, love to work with new investors, and let's do some practice runs.
Even experienced investors.
Yeah.
They need your help too.
Heck
I know you guys do a lot of work. One of my wife's clients, I think you just worked with on a property. So you guys are always, you need that back and forth brainstorm.
It's partnership.
So, it's huge. So.
Partnership.
Yeah, because even as experienced investors, you still run into those properties and you're like, I think the ARV is this, but I'm just really not sure. Hey, Mike, check this out for me and see what number you come up with.
Exactly.
So that's good to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good to have.
Awesome.
Vanessa, thank you for being here. Thank you for being our guest on today. You all out there know exactly what to do. Reach out to Vanessa. She gave you her Instagram handle, telephone number, text number, email. Reach out to her. If you have any questions about funding, reach out to Vanessa and she'll be able to help you, as well as Boomerang Capital. So thank you again for another successful episode of the AZREIA Show. And you all know what to do. Get out there and take massive action.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Great.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Prete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.